Penis. So I've subjected myself to playing this supposed woke modern agenda game that would be rivaling against Knight's Path, and I found it to be okay for the most part. It wasn't special or anything, but I guess it was passable in terms of story and combat. I mean, historical RPGs are not my forte anyways, so it's not like I was expecting this game to be compelling or gravitating in any way whatsoever. The only reason I even played this game in the first place is because I wanted to see if it was really like that bad enough to be overly excessive and destructive about it on Twitter. Instead, I was met with one of the most unnecessary controversies that I've personally seen surrounding a video game. So I'm gonna assume what anyone with a sense of sanity is wondering. Is this game as bad as everyone says it is? Absolutely not. And it wasn't even close at all. It was one of the first times, however, that people who genuinely hated on this game was overwhelmingly and openly dishonest about it. Almost as if they didn't play the game at all and just watched a video essay surrounding it. Hint, hint.
Don't you laugh at me!
And despite a linear story with an uninspiring plot, its gameplay and mechanics were at least bearable. The first act of this game was genuinely promising and got me hooked into where it would go next within the main conflict. And as it developed into the second act, I found myself a little disappointed of how the plot would be turning out. So when the third act came along, it was incredibly anticlimactic and honestly insulting. What I don't like about these kind of games is how it sets itself up to be a simple story with a clear resolution, but ends in a shitty execution with an undeserved tragic ending for absolutely no reason. If the game had done a better job at explaining the dynamic relationship between Aita and Bianca and their motivations along with their differing perspectives, then the ending would at least be forgivable and much more deserving. But Bianca had disappeared for more than half of the game, giving us no indication on Bianca's intentions and motives until the very end, where she pretty much exhausts all of it in such a forced way, leaving the scene rushed and poorly executed. I should at least give Jennifer English and Albie Baldwin props for at least trying with their performance, even if it sounds like they were just reading off of a script without any means for improvising or at least making the dialogue interesting, because holy shit, the rest of the cast performance was pretty garbage. The first boss of the game, whose name I couldn't even remember, along with the other bosses, were genuinely forgettable. I should probably mention that there are 3 bosses within this 8-hour game and they are not intriguing at all. There really isn't anything that would be deemed memorable about them. There isn't really anything that jumps out at me and that could make me go, "Oh my god! Wow!" I generally felt like their performances were way too unoriginal and dull. I feel like there were things that the cast could do that could have made their characters more lively and expressive. Instead, we got the other version of expressive. Now, I like Jennifer English as a voice actor because she could actually give life and emotion towards her own characters like Shadowheart, and it was not present here in the slightest. And I feel like this indie game would have given her character more screen time if it weren't for their tight budget, is what I'm assuming? Because it seems like they didn't even consider extending the time window in order to better polish their game. That said, I did like the concept of this game taking place in 14th century Italy, and I really like that the pestilence is a recurring motif of Bianca's perspective of the new world coming forth of the old world and finding it necessary for there to be death and disease in order to reach that goal. It would be a breath of fresh air to come from a character if it at least developed better in order to be more effective, but it's whatever, I guess. There really isn't anything to say about the game outside of the story, however. Like I said before, the gameplay was playable but nothing innovative. The combat wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, but it was really clunky and not very polished. The ambience and the visuals of the game were pretty decent. There were actually some beautiful sights here and there. The exploration could have honestly done a lot more to be more immersive. The soundtrack is forgettable, and there really isn't a lot of variety or even a challenge when it comes to enemies. And finally, there were definitely glitches, at least upon launch, and were shortly fixed. But there was definitely lag, at least in the console version. Overall, the game is okay for what it is and what it had to offer. There was definitely a lot of room to be worked with, at least for a $25 game. Going back to what I said about the controversy, no, the game itself does not deserve the hate for what it got on Twitter. If people actually had a non-biased constructive criticism, then they would absolutely reach the same conclusion that this game would be mediocre. If Metacritic had a bias filter to filter out criticisms that looked like they were posted in order to hurt the game's credibility, then the Metascore would at least go from a 1.5 to at least a 5, considering the PlayStation console's score compared to Metacritic's. Anyways, the woke modern agenda game will be receiving a 5 out of 10. You gave it your all, I guess. So this video was edited like a while ago. I had other things to do and I couldn't really get into it because I was focused on other stuff like work and other projects, and I really like doing commentary, and I kind of flaked on this one, but I decided to post it on here anyways because screw it. It's better to not post it at all. And so far, I've done like a lot of work on it, as you can see. So, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to come back to this video game unless it sparks some newfound outrage after, I guess, Knight's Path comes out and it becomes relevant again. But if anybody wants me to like bring it back up, then I would be more than happy to do that. But for now, I'm going to focus on other stuff and commentary because there's plenty that I want to talk about. And if anybody else wants to give me, some, recommended things to review or talk about, then you can look at my social medias and DM me if you want to. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will definitely be more active on here and give you guys a bunch of new content. So I'll see you guys later.